test it. I feel like this is just an example. So let's just start with this as a major example. So test your technology, check internet, check your tech, and then systems, laptops, just like what exactly happened to me right now, has a problem with, out of nowhere, they're telling that they're updating. So check if your system is updated, if it's about to update. Don't tell it, maybe 1 hour ago, you told it to update in 1 hour, and just in the middle of your interview, it tells you it's about to start updating. Please check for that. It can be a really, like, because most interviewers already has like 20 minutes to 30 minutes already queued up in a day. They can have 6 to 7 interviews to go. So you losing that 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes kills the opportunity that you have for the person to come up and be like, okay, this is what this person can do. And that time for you to pitch yourself is gone, it's completely gone. So I'm just going to advise, number one is my experience right now. Don't be overconfident in what you think your technology can do. Go beyond that. Check every single thing. So I'm overstating number one because this is an example of what just happened right now. So number two, set the scene and minimize distractions. Bland walls, no colors. Don't be in a, I know very well most recruiters are going to give you at least 24 to 48 hours between, they're going to notify you about the time for your interview. So I don't think you should have a reason to be in a bus or to be in a vehicle or to be standing outside and be explaining to the interviewer that, oh, I'm sorry, I am here. Sorry for the interruption. Sorry for the noise. I think there are ways you can actually get rid of that distraction, take off that distraction and step back. If you have children, fine. Have someone take your children far away. If you're in a noisy environment, beg everybody in your house, beg every single person. If you have to bribe them that please, you need to do this and you need everywhere to be quiet. So this is something I would say is also very, very important to avoid issues coming up. So the scene, look at the background, look at this background. It's not distracting you from what I'm saying. It's not distracting you from listening to me. You are not, as a recruiter, I'm talking to someone and the next thing I'm so focused on, what's that painting behind? I'm basically, I have missed what the person is trying to say. I've missed the pitch. The person is trying to pitch about themselves. So the third one I'm going to say is sit down prepared. Sit down prepared, which is basically, you can't have applied for a job and you can't get a job interview and not know anything about your company or not know anything about your role. Basically, I'm going to say it's about the company, which is extremely important. A tech company sends you an interview or an interview link. Browse about them, check up on them, know what they're doing, look at their mission, look at their goals, tailor yourself to what these people are going to do, tailor yourself to, okay, this is what this company wants, and this is how I can apply myself, this is how I can pitch myself so that they will understand. And like I said before, wear professional attires. It's extremely important. I don't know what you're going to do, but wear a professional attire. Don't look so scattered. I think I said this, I emphasized this before. Don't, even if it doesn't matter what you have on your hair, if you have dreads, arrange it. If your hair is low, comb it out and make yourself look presentable. Do not show up for an interview looking like you just walked off the street. It is a horrible thing to do. I can't emphasize on this enough. Dress for a virtual interview like you're going for a physical interview. I don't care what you wear below, but your top right now should look professional, should look like, oh, I am ready for this. I'm coming up, I'm showing up for this. So just this part alone, sit down prepared and wear professional attire. I link this together because for you to sit down prepared, you're going to be wearing something professional. So I just have 4 parts alone, what you are doing, what you need to do before the interview. Just these are the 4 major things that if you can ace it, you are ready for the interview. So moving to the next part, I'm going to be telling you how to make a good impression during the interview. So this part is really, really important, I would say. So I would say show up on time. Extremely important, show up on time. Don't be, don't turn up 10 minutes, 20 minutes, or even 3 minutes after the interviewer has done their thing. Don't do that. That is just simply just telling the person, oh, there's something more important than this. meaning the person's time is not valuable enough. Show up on time, be ready for whatever is about to happen. Be there, be at least 5 minutes, be seated 5 minutes. Take away, just like I said, no distractions, nothing. Be seated 5 minutes before the person comes on, so that the person will meet you there. If for any circumstances you come in and you meet the person there, let's say that you're coming in on the dot. If it is 10 on the dot, you came in 10 on the dot. This already, just that initial startup, the first thing the interviewer is saying is, oh, okay, oh, this person is punctual. That is a pass mark already. Don't do something that just beginning already. The interviewer is already feeling like, I'm tired of this person. So the next thing is to build a rapport. Build rapport with your interviewer. When I say build rapport, I'm not talking about as a male. I'm not saying you should compliment the female interviewer. Don't compliment the person. That is bordering on harassment. Don't do that. What you need to do is building a rapport, meaning, oh, okay, meaning which comes from what I talked about in preparing. You know about the company. So now you're building a rapport. You're talking about the company. You're talking to the company about, oh, okay, what have you done? This is what I have done, and I have read about what you are doing. So I know very well that my experience is going to come in handy with you, with your mission and vision of your company, which this will tell the person that, hey, this person is really, really ready. This person knows what they are coming in for. This person has read about this particular thing. So it's basically telling the person, hey, I am ready. It's basically telling the person, hey, I am showing up on time and I am building the rapport. I'm talking to you. Don't separate yourself. Don't sit up and just be like, and answer yes, no. Ma, are you asking any other question? Ma, what else is there? Or sir, what else is there? An interviewer is just going to be, they will be taken off guard and like, okay, what's going on? But though they will just already have questions they're going to ask you. So they will go through those questions, but you're not memorable enough in their hearts for them to be like, oh, I think I want to keep this person on, or oh, this person was really, really entertaining, or this person really made me understand or made me remember why I'm actually hiring for this position. Be memorable. I think that is the major thing I am going to be emphasizing on. So, and the third one, make eye contact with the camera. I am not seeing anybody right now, but I am looking at the camera right there. So your system will have its own code. If you're using a laptop, it has a camera, definitely. If you're using a phone, it has a camera. Pretend like the camera hole is where your person is, where the interviewer two eyeballs are, and look at the interviewer. Do not look at sideways. Do not look this way. Your eyes should not be going up and down and they are wondering, is someone coaching you from behind? What's happening with this person? And then this actually also helps you build rapport with your person, because the more you talk to the person, you're making eye contact, and I'm talking to you right now, I'm teaching you. I can't see any of you, but it's like you understand me, I'm looking at you, and you understand the fact that, oh, okay, this is what this person is saying. It also helps you build rapport. It helps you build a genuine connection with the person in saying that, oh, this company is this is how I can do this is how I can do that. And then the last one I'm going to say is let your communication be confident. Like, be confident in your communication. Don't be I think I should have done this. No, I'm not sure about this experience, though, but do you think so? And don't be stammering. Don't be feeling like, what's the example I can give? I can say, they'll ask you, what do you think I bring to the table? This is something I expect you to already be prepared for. And you don't be like, if you hire me, please, I think I can bring something. At least with small things that I know I can bring something. It doesn't make sense. Show the person that you're confident in the fact that you are showing up. You are showing up means that, hey, I'm sitting up, I'm coming here, I'm sitting up, and I'm ready for this. And then this also involves sitting up straight. Don't be slouched. Don't be looking like this at somewhere else. I don't know. This is another thing with coming prepared, because you have interviews. I've had interviews where someone is looking at the screen beside him, and they are looking at, and this is where their camera is, but they're looking at this place because they're trying to read up on the questions I'm asking. What does that tell me as an interviewer? It tells me as an interviewer that, hey, you are not ready and you don't know this job, because if you need to browse it, if you need to look up questions, then you don't know this job, you're not ready for this job. That is what it's communicating to me as an interviewer. And that is not something that you want to move forward with. I don't think that is something that you want as a takeaway for the interviewer. So make sure to stay poised and take a moment to collect your thoughts. You are asked a question. You are allowed to be like, okay, take a moment and then think about it and come back and be like, hey, so this is how I want to answer this question. This is how I want to answer this question. That you are in a time crunch does not mean that just like you're writing jam. I don't think some people, it's not been that long ago that you wrote jam, and you have a time crunch, and then you have to you just tick and you're just going as fast as you can. But then you answer all of the questions, but then you barely make any of them because why? It's simple. You didn't even pay attention to it. So if you answer 50 questions and you get that 50 questions because you took time to collect your thoughts, haven't you aced it? For me, answering 50 of those questions confidently simply says, okay, you are teachable, meaning the other things you don't have. I will consider the fact that, because one of my questions will be, are you teachable? Can I teach you this? Then it means that you're ready to actually I can teach you the rest that you didn't answer. But this ones you answered, I feel like you're confident enough to show up for them. So this is a bonus one. I'm going to be telling you the commonly asked interview questions. They are the most commonly asked ones that most interviewers are going to be asking you. The first one is, tell us about yourself. Where do I start from with this question? When an interviewer asks you, tell me about yourself, they are not asking you, they're not asking you what's your football goal. They're not asking you what football team do you support. They're not asking you what your hobby is. I don't think an interviewer will come from anywhere because they want to get to know you on a personal level. You can tell them some things on a personal level, but you're going to follow this, or I will suggest you follow this particular rule. 80% career and past experience goals, 15% academic, and 5% personal. And that personal has to be something personally in your life. You can be like, oh, you are about to go up for a lead position. You can talk, they're bringing it personal. Oh, I'm a first child. I have led my younger ones for a while. I feel like I am equipped to handle issues. That is how you can link personal into a question like that. 80%, let it be past experience that is related to the job that you are interviewing for. 80% meaning career things that you've done career-wise that is related to the job that you are applying for, not something that you come out of nowhere and you just wake up and it's like, okay, career-wise, I'm this, nothing related. Yes, I know that not everyone has worked completely in a particular part. Take up those parts and focus on the things that relate to the job you're applying for specifically. So tell me about yourself. This is the rule. 80, 15, 5%. 80, 15, 5%. 80% you're talking about. This is something you can summarize in 1 minute or less. But 80% past experiences and career relating to that goal. 15% educational. If what you've read is like you're applying as an accountant and you've read an accounting district, you have an accounting degree, then pull that in. That should be 15%. Oh, I studied accounting at so university. I came out with this. I was this and I was that. I even was this and that. Like, oh, I was team lead in this assignment. I was team lead in this. That is proving to the person that, okay, you are capable of leading. You are capable of doing this all by yourself. So again, 80, 15, 5%. Nobody wants to hear about everything about your personal goal, personal life, your sub story. There will be time for that. But for now, you need to convince the person that you know what you're saying. So the next one I'm going to be talking about, which is basically, what do you want out of it? They're going to be asking you, what do you want? Why are you applying for this company? Why are you applying to this company? What do you want out of this company? So this comes in your initial preparation. You would have already prepared yourself and known that, okay, this person is asking me this, meaning that this is a tech company. You are coming in, even if it's a business-wide, you have to find a way to link the fact that this is a tech company you're coming in, and find a way to, and you've read about them, you know their mission, you know their vision, and you know your own personal goals, and you tell them that, oh, okay, example, tell me about yourself. Okay, so I've read about your company, and this is where I find myself working in that I feel like can grow me to the next level career-wise, in grow my professional life. Okay, so I've always loved tech. That is, if you're applying into a tech company and you're not a tech person. If you're a tech person, it's easier to come in. Okay, let me start with the business wise. There you're applying an accountant. Like, I've always been technologically inclined. I love tech. I love everything that has to do with tech. Tech just makes me feel better about myself. Tech this, don't talk about that. And then you then say, then you now link it to the fact that, oh, I read accounting, which I've been able to link accounting to tech because my tools that I use, I've used social tools, I've used this tool that has helped me. And I feel like being in a tech company is part of being in a modernized world. This is what the person wants to be hearing. And this will tell the person that you have looked at the company website, you know what the company is all about. I want to work in this, but don't tell them the salary is nice and the money is big, so I want to advance financially. That I don't think that's what anybody wants to hear. Move on from that. Be very concise about it. Mission. If you're looking at a company site, important things: what the company is about, services they offer, mission, vision. What the company is about, services they offer, mission, vision. Very, very important. Those are the things that will link you to this question, that you're able to answer this question. So moving on to the next thing, I'm going to be saying, moving on to the next one, it's, I think I'm going to tell you something about this. Tell me about yourself. I think I didn't say it before. I'm going to take you back a little bit, something I didn't talk about, which just came to me. When you are going for an interview, when I say prepare professionally, it just came up right now. I don't put your phone like this and look down at your phone, because you feel like, don't put your phone, like if you're going to use a phone, okay, fine, you don't have a system, or your system, something happened to it. Don't put your phone down like this and be like, okay, I'm hearing you. Can you not hear me? I can hear you. And the person is looking at you, looking down like this. The person is seeing your jaw, person is seeing your head, minus the other distractions in the background. Already, a recruiter is already feeling like, what's happening? They're already feeling like, okay, they're not really prepared for this. What's happening? Let's move on from this, or something like that. Don't do this. And just like I said before, even if you have a problem connecting and you want to be able to see something, I can't overemphasize on this, not putting your screen down and not carrying your phone and doing it like this. Don't do that. Let's move on from that. So like this, if you don't have what currently I am using a ring light. If you don't have a ring light, you take books, stack it on the table, raise the phone or a system to eye level. Raise it up. This is it. Raise it to eye level so that you are looking directly. So even if you are sitting on a higher chair and your system is your table is lower, you don't end up looking down like this and part of your head is cut off, or just to make sure you're already slouched. So that posture, that thing already has killed a lot of things. Look down. Looking down kills it. Look up and move on from there. Okay, so the other thing I'm going to be talking about, another thing is, give me an example of a project you worked on. I don't know why I'm using account. Maybe it's a professional degree or something. So you're applying as a software developer, you're applying as an accountant, you're applying as a business developer, you're applying as, it doesn't matter what you're applying to. They'll ask you a question. Give me what project have you worked on that you worked from the beginning to the ending? How do you answer that question? Pick a project that you worked on. Even if you have assisted in the project, it depends on the position you are applying to. If you're applying as a lead person meaning you have to have had a project that you worked on single-handedly, being the lead from beginning to the ending. So you can't tell me you're applying for lead and then you have a project and you're telling me you assist. Yeah, you're allowed to climb. But then even if you're going to say you assisted on a project, you say you worked with the lead, which means you knew about every step that the person took. You knew about every move that the lead took in achieving that position, which is a very, very important thing. So also very, very important. Give me an example of a project you worked on. Pick a project. Or as an accountant, or as a business person, or as a marketer, I'm going to take marketing. They're going to ask you, give me a project you worked on, meaning it could be that your company you worked with pulled out this product and you were given lead in marketing the product, how did you do it from beginning? Give us an example. How did you do it? Now, if you're applying for lead and you're saying you did that, you should know that you should already have done that. If you assisted in lead, state it very clearly. That is also very important. So the other fourth thing I'm going to talk about, what tools, software have you used before? They're going to ask you that. Tools, software, meaning marketers, what tools of software have you used? Accountants, what tools of software have you used? Which also prepares the interviewer and tells them the fact that, hey, this person is technologically advanced, which means that they are prepared to work remotely. You don't want someone working remotely that you have to hold their hands through every process and be like, okay, you're going to do this, and then you're going to do this with this, and then this is going to happen with this. Nobody wants that. It's people hire for roles that CEOs, I would say, hire for roles because they feel like they want to step back from this role. After a week or two of coaching, they want to step back from this role and be like, I know this person can handle this with this technology. Even if they're introducing into a new technology, the fact that you've worked with a tool or a software previously tells them that, hey, this person is ready. This person is ready to move ahead with this, which is very, very important. So how do you manage your time and stay organized? So managing your time, this particular question, when they ask you this comes from the fact that you are working remotely. And they know that if you're working remotely, so many things are going to be coming on. Projects from this side, from that direction is going to be coming on. How you answer this question is going to be very specific, which is simple. I prioritize tasks. Meaning you prioritize tasks, meaning you know that this particular thing that was given is a priority right now. This one is not a priority. This is something that needs to be done, but I don't need to, it's not urgent. So you rank by urgency. You rank by how it is needed. If this is needed by tomorrow, if you have a project, you're giving three things from different angles, you have one needed by tomorrow, even if it is a small task. You have another one needed the day after tomorrow, and the other one needed by next week. Now you believe that, oh, that very big one needed by next week, I think I can work on it, and then this small one needed for tomorrow, I can just, glance through it by tomorrow. It's better you solve the issue that is coming before you than going ahead and trying to solve something bigger that it hasn't even come close yet. Yes, you can do the small task that is required for tomorrow and then move on to the other one for the next tomorrow before you move on to the one of next week that you believe it's bigger. But then that shows them that you can prioritize. This is your answer. The exact answer should be, I prioritize tasks according to urgency. That is it. How much will you like to be paid? Or before this one, I want to just say this one, which is important. How do you keep up with industry standards? Industry standards, meaning human resources. How do you know what's currently happening? How do you know that they've changed the payroll of this? How do you know that they've changed what's the word? They've changed the current minimum wage for this nation. How do you know that this is how other companies are now doing things? How do you know this? How do you know business managers? How do you know this? How do you know that? That is what they mean when they ask you that question. How do you keep up with dates with industry standards? Your answer, very straightforward, very simple. I keep up with industry standards because I stay connected to other people that are also in my role. As a HR person, I have other HR people too that I know that I'm connected with, that I can talk to and be like, hey, what's going on? This is where connection comes in, which I know someone is going to take you later on. You are connected with the person, you're communicating with other people that tells you that, hey, this is it, this is what's going on, this is what's going on in my company. This doesn't mean you should breach your non-disclosure agreement. I'm just simply saying for the HR aspect only. And you can also answer this question, other than communicating with other people in your role, you are well read, you read up about certain things, you're always trying to read courses that will upgrade you. That should be your answer. Don't stress about the fact, don't start overthinking it and start thinking that they mean you should get an extra course, or you need to be doing this, or you need to be doing that. It's simple. I tend to update myself by taking courses, keeping updated with events that are happening, by communicating with other people that are in my role. It doesn't matter the country they are in, but I am updating myself consistently by doing these things, communicating with people and reading up about things that are relating to my role. I am well read in the area. That should be the answer to your question. The eighth one I am going to say is, how much do you want to be paid? Okay, I'm going to say this. Do not box yourself into a corner and say, oh, and give a specific amount and just be like, this is what I want. They'll just feel like, two things can happen from that. Two things, and believe me, none of them positive. Two things can happen from that. One, you can state a price that is too high, and they feel like our company is not really up to that. We don't think we can come up with that. And the other thing that can happen, which is also negative, which you say badly about you, is the fact that we don't think your experience actually deserves that, or you are overqualified for that job you are speaking about. You are for that amount you just stated. Do not do that. The moment you ask you, how much would you like to be paid for this position? The first thing that you say, you flip the question. How much are you paying for this position? You know the amount they are paying for the position. If it is lower than what you expected, you come out straight and be like, I was expecting more because I earned this before and I'm hoping to advance in my career. I'm hoping to get higher pay because I have this experience and I have this experience and I know what I'm bringing to the table. That should be it. But if it is exactly what you want, oh, that solves the question. I think that solves everything. Like, just straight up, oh, this is what I could do. This is perfect. If there's no problem, this is what I want. This is what I am going for. This solves the entire issue. So those are the two ways it can go. It is not good at all. Flip the question and then answer what you're asking for, what you want for your position. This is what they want. If you want it, go for it. If it is higher than what you even imagined, fine, you accept it. If it is lower than what you imagined, probe and look for ways that it can be increased. If it is extremely low, even though you need a job, it is extremely low, you are allowed to negotiate. I think someone is going to come up and tell you about negotiating, but this part, you are allowed to negotiate. You are allowed to come in and, based on your experience, is there room for increase in the budget because you know what you're bringing to the table? So negotiation is going to come on later, but I'm just going to tell you, to give yourself the upper hand in this question, flip the question. Do not give a particular number at all. So that's that. And then the last one, I'm going to be giving you the last question. I know that is also asked. Do you have a question for me? Don't say no. The moment you say no, it tells the person, oh, this person, because basically that question simply means, are you interested in this company? Have you read about this company? Do you know what we can do? You have questions, because the truth is that if you're interested, if you're watching a movie and you're interested in a movie, you'll be asking questions. Okay, what's happening? Or if you're about to watch a movie, you want to go and like, what happened in this movie? What's the summary of this thing? You have to have a question. Another important thing of sitting down prepared, look at the company, know what to ask. Okay, for this role, will I be working with people? How many people am I likely going to be working with for this position? Is it this? Is it that? Or this salary, is this the last one? Have a question. What they are simply saying, doing this is simple. Oh, are you interested in this company? Nobody wants the entire whole, oh, no, I don't have any question, but thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much, sir. No, wrong move. That question means, are you interested? Do you want this company? That is a rope pulling you in. Your no cuts off that rope completely. So these are the things I'm basically going to be taking. This is what I wanted to talk to you about, remote interviewing. It's very, very, very important you know these points, you take them to heart, and you understand the fact that these are things that you should expect. These are what you should be prepared for. So thank you very much. Is there any question, Christiana? Is there any question? Not anything from the audience. I'm ready for that. Oh, and I think I need to mention this too. And where I spoke about what they ask you about yourself, I think you should also be aware of the fact if you are a student or a recent graduate and you don't have that 80% past experience, and the only thing you are leaning on is your academic part, then expatiate so much on the academic part that it's as if your entire career, your entire thing is based on the fact that you've gained so much experience in the university sector. That is what I would advise. So if you don't have, you're a new graduate, you're just coming out in the field, you are fresh, you're glowing, NYC just finished with you, they just dropped you out on the streets. Please do not say, yes, you don't have previous experience, but I have done this and I have done this. And this is how it relates to this job that I'm applying for. If you're applying for a job, don't go bland and just be like, I don't have experience, but I know I can learn. Give something, just like when they always tell you in school, then don't leave the answer blank. Don't leave the question paper blank. Don't leave it blank. Mention something. Say something. Say something that relates to it. Don't just ramble. Be collected. Oh, I don't have experience, but as this, while I was in school, I did this and I did this. I was in charge of student budgets. I was in charge of my class budget, and I did this and I did that. And then what Mr. Michael also spoke about is also important. While you're in school, look for certification, look for things that will broaden you, look for internships that you can do that will help you. That when you come out, you are glowing fresh out of the university, but then at the same time, you are glowing fresh coming out, but then you have experience that will shoulder you, experience that will carry you through certain aspects, to carry you through certain jobs. Internships are important. There are internships that you can do, even if they are not paid internships. There are also volunteers that you can do that, even if they are not paid. But it is something you can mention that, hey, I did this, and this is what I got out of this, and this is my experience with this. So yeah, that's it. Do you have any questions for me? I can't see the screen. Christiana, is there any question?
Hi, thank you so much, Princess. Thank you so much. You're free to stop sharing. Thank you so much for that information that was given. Remote interview is actually a very dicey and very different kind of interview. There are certain things you should have, like Princess has pointed out, a clean background, very important. The light in front of you, as you can see, the light is really coming towards my face from here, because if I actually turn my camera to point to my light, you can see how that is not proper because of the light is distorted in the video. Always encourage to use laptop. Using laptop is a fantastic one. Always use your laptop. Research about the company before you start, before you come on board. Research about the company. MolaraFoundation is actually one of the company that believes in remote job, both hybrid and remote job. So we have a lot of our staffs that we are actually working remotely, and our boss, our founder, is actually in California, and we're working with her. And we have several people working. We employ people from several walks of place to work for MolaraFoundation. So there are certain things you need to learn about the remote interview, which Princess has pointed out, like the using of laptop. I would always encourage that you actually get a laptop, either borrowed in order to use it instead of using your own phone, and then you research about it. And as she said, there is road, but not reading about it and talking about yourself. Has to be about talking about what the position is. So when they say tell me about yourself, is the position is about cleaning, is about marketing, focus on the skills you have towards that position. So we're going to check if you have. I'm actually waiting for questions. Waiting for questions that are there. Definitely all the questions that has to do with MolaraFoundation. I will answer, actually will actually be answering that. We have one of the programs team member that will come on board, Grace. Grace would actually join me with this, so she will be answering certain questions, or we have Pelumi Shire or David on ground that will be answering those questions. So someone is asking, what if they include a payment range in the job posting? How do you answer this? Princess, please.
Okay, if they include a payment range, the first thing you should ask is after the interview, like when they ask you how much are you looking towards, if that payment range is what you're looking at, the first thing you're going to be like asking, because by then at this point you've gone through, this question always comes at the end of the interview. So you've gone through all of that part, and what they're going to be asking you now, as they ask you that question, you should say, based on this interview, what range do you think I'm leaning towards? If they say this job is between 100 to 150, you should ask them again, flip the question. Ask them in what this payment range, based on our interaction, which range or which exact number am I leaning towards based on our conversation? Is it 120? Is it 130? Is it 140? If say, oh, we're going to get back to you on that, that is the future discussion, which means you are comfortable with 100 to 150. And then when they get back to you on that, then you still have time to negotiate. But if they say it is 120, 130, if it is what you're looking for, then you say it is fine, thank you. If it is lower than what you're looking for, just like I said, negotiate. Ask based on that. If you feel like you are worth it, no, let me not say worth it. If you feel like your experience, your past experience is beyond that, then argue it and negotiate it.
Okay. All right. So I would actually add to that. I think the person was pointing out, if you're using the likes of Indeed, yes, they usually ask for payment range. Now, question, if you are doing remote interview, definitely that means you're applying for jobs in other country. So you have to check how much they are paying them for that range of that country. So let's say you're a social media in Nigeria, but you're looking for a social media position in Canada. You need to go to the likes of Glassdoor and you check how much they pay for that role. But meanwhile, knowing that you are actually working in a minority demography, so even if you are being a specialist in Africa, go for the position price, be position salary for like internship or executive or average manager, then use that for your payment range. But like she said, there are times for negotiation. Now, if someone says, okay, we're going to offer you $500 or $1,000, don't say, oh, I'm okay with that. No. In negotiation skills, keep your face straight and say, oh, thank you for the offer. Are there any other benefits apart from this? Do you have any, when is your, what's that word, Princess?
What's your
Evaluation.
evaluation? What's your 401? What are you expecting from this?
Yeah,
Meaning,
so
like, what other benefits are the company bringing in? Exactly.
yes, what
Like,
other
they
benefit?
can be paying
Thank
you
you.
lower. I think the HR most times they can pay lower, but then the benefits that this company is giving, they're giving you health insurance, they're giving you so many things, even covers what they are not paying you. So
Yeah,
that is
but
negotiation.
yes, but you have to be, there are certain things you need to know what you need money for. Even when they have health insurance and certain things, the health insurance, you need to check what health insurance they have, but you have to make decision for yourself. But the first thing first in picking a company is usually the culture of the company. Always ask about the
Exactly.
culture of the company, because one of
Yeah.
the things we do in MolaraFoundation, we don't work weekends, we don't work weekends. We know that people have to be with their family. So you have to make sure that you're not working for a company that is not sensitive to your own need, and also you are not insensitive to the company's need, because actually getting a job is back and forth. So
I think this point
someone
you
is,
actually made, sorry, Christiana, this point you actually made is actually very important, which I didn't mention. Thank you very much for that. You're asking about the culture and the work hours is important. This comes in as at the part of what questions, what are the questions? Do you have any questions for us? These are the points you should note down. These are the things you should ask about. Yeah, this was an amazing point. Thank you, Christiana.
you're welcome. Did someone ask here, do you think virtual interview are more accurate in terms of communication and getting to know the prospect employee than remote interview? Yes, they are. They're actually very accurate, because right now you are actually supposed to show your expression. It's easier when someone meets you in person. You know, there are lots of things, but they do more when it's virtual. When they meet you in person, you don't be thinking it's because some people are wearing boxers below and wearing shirts that does not depict who the person is. No, but this one you could see that is a one-on-one facing, no distraction, no other person. So when you're answering and you're talking, most of the virtual interviews, you're looking at one person, you're talking to one person, even if you have different members. So definitely virtual interviews are actually accurate, yes, because they're asking you the right questions and you're focusing on it. You're not distracted, because when you go into the room When you have 5 to 10 people asking you questions, you are usually distracted, talking to one person, looking, okay, let me look at the other person's expression and see. But when it comes to virtual, both of you are talking, you know the person's expression you're looking at, everything is just high end. So you don't have to say, okay, is the CEO that is sitting by the left actually hearing me or nodding his head concerning what I'm saying? So that actually comes to your own benefit because you're actually being focused and looking at it. So it's quite accurate. So I usually prefer, for me, I don't know about other people, but I'm sure Princess also prefer the virtual than physical meeting, especially there's still COVID, and especially also because of the traffic or certain things. And if someone would not employ you, our company, we don't like to stress someone. So once we interview you online, we're not employing you, there's no need being stressed and entering the traffic and coming over to our office. So thank you. This is quite a session, quite insightful. Thank you so much for that, Fisayo. The session is regard to the common questions. Could you share a few tips on what question to ask interview when they ask? Yes. Princess, Fisayo is asking, what question should somebody ask if they say, do you have any questions after this interview for the company?
Okay. First question. I think we'll take the range. What's your company policy on this? On this, if you are particularly concerned about a specific thing, like just what you mentioned, culture, a company culture, work time, ask about that. Ask about the fact that okay, this is a fully remote, or is it this, or is not fully remote? How, what's the working time? What's the working range? Ask about that. And then you can ask about the company too. How long has this company been in existence? What, in what way do you feel like it is still growing and we can still make impact about it? Like, I read that you do this. I read that you did this. In what way, again, do you see this company growing? In what direction do you see this company growing? You ask a recruiter that question, they feel like, and they know that, okay, this person is already.
Oh, sorry. I think we lost Princess for this. I think we lost Princess. So we're going to, sorry, Fisayo. I think she will join us soon. Um okay, let me just break it down with just a few things I've known working years and remotely. Um if one of my go-to questions is, what are you looking for? What are the things you're looking for? What are the goals? What are the KPIs do you have for this position? That's a very fantastic question you should have. Second question, my second go-to question when it comes to interview, where they ask you if you have any questions, is what do you think would affect me not have this job? What is the skills you think I'm lacking that might affect not have there's a word I'm looking for it. What is the thing that is giving you an option that I'm not prepared for this job? So if they have any questions that they are not sure of about you, about the job, they should let you know so that you can elaborate on it. So they might say something like, oh, we could see that you don't have a strong CSS, like you don't know CSS, if you're a coder, you don't know CSS, or we can see that, oh, you're good in social media, but you don't have any physical marketing skills, or you don't have any offline marketing skills. Then you can do that. Oh, thank you for answering that. Well, you could see that my offline marketing, I actually did something that is not on my CV. I've actually done this, and I'm looking to learn. So the two go-to questions actually works very well when you ask them, especially when you are discussing with the owner of the question. So what if they don't give a reply after asking the company pay range for the role? First and foremost, try not to ask for your company, your payroll. The first question you guys do, it's like when you go on a date, you now ask a guy or a girl, how much do you make on the first date? No. The first thing you do is that you get to know the company gets to know you, so that you guys will know that, okay, are we compatible? Do I want to work for you? And the company gets to know that, do I want to employ you? You don't go forward and say, okay, what's the pay range? Either if the company posts the pay range, fantastic. You need to know that they have several companies, and especially as Africans, a lot of African companies do not place their salary range online. They don't do it. We all know that. We have only foreign companies actually doing this. Not all of them do that. So if you want to go, where you can ask for pay range would actually be when you've gone through maybe third interview or the fourth, or actually close to the final interview, to know how to make your decision. So someone else has a question. What do you do when you're asked questions that are not related to your field? I've experienced it several times. So let's say you're cooking and you're a chef and somebody's asking, okay, how do you wash plates? Then you can tell them that, well, as a chef that worked with several people, I would delegated taxes to people that have washed plates. So that is it. So you could say something like that. The chef is dedicated to this. Okay, at an interview, like, okay, this is not related, or you say that, oh, I don't have that. What I know about this is that when working as a team, we had so person, the data analyst that actually dealt with data. So as a digital marketing person, how do you deal with data analysis? Tell them that, oh, I use Google Analytics to deal with it, but we did have a team member that was in charge. Most of my work when working with a team, we use a data analyst so that they would know that this you're expecting this role, because some company will be asking you this because they want to use you as a chef, a cleaner, a to wash plates, all those ones. No, you tell them, oh, while working as a team, I definitely work with data analysts. Do you understand? Where you're also explaining to them that this role belongs to this without actually being offensive. So what if they include payment range? Well, if they include payment range, make sure that you're dealing with that. One of the things I used to answer when they say, how much are they paying you before? You might not want to disclose it, or maybe the things you signed with the company and maybe it's low. It's like when you're working for an African company and they're paying you 300K. And now you see a foreign company that is willing to pay you as much as $2,000 or pounds in a month. You can't go and tell them they were paying 300,000 naira. If you convert it, you won't get paid well, or you won't even be employed. So what you need to do is tell them that you have a non-disclosure agreement with your company. On a normal, everybody has a non-disclosure agreement in order not to share their price, their salary. But you could tell them that I cannot tell you because I have a non-disclosure agreement with my former company. But what I can tell you is if that the money is within $2,000 to $2,500 range, I would be able to, I would actually take the job if it's within this range. Don't go and tell them they were paying you 300,000 naira and then it's a job of 2,000 pounds or $2,000. You're going to lose that job because they don't want to pay, they don't want to employ people that are underpaid. So we'll move on to the next question. What if one is a recent graduate and has no experience in the role and is not related to any academic background, but enrolled in an online course to gain knowledge to the role? Does it stand a chance in getting a job? Yes, you do. Google have changed things. It's no longer about your BSc, it's always about your portfolio, where you've worked, where you've volunteered, what skills you have. So you do have a bigger chance. I think we have much questions, so we're going to roll through it so that we'll go to the next one, which we'll be discussing soon. So complimenting on interviewer, but what is if you were complimented first? Okay, Elizabeth is asking about compliments. You have to be very careful about your compliments. If I'm you, I would lose not talking at all about compliments. If somebody says you look good, tell the person thank you. There was a viral thing that went wrong, especially when men are complimenting female HRO. You have to be very careful about that. The candidate said to the HR person, you smell nice. You've gone beyond. I'm sure maybe the HR person like, oh, I like your suit, or you look good. You don't have to tell the HR you smell like. Just say thank you. Go straight to the point. Yeah, you have to be professional, especially guys. Before you come up at the sexual harassment, you have to be very careful about that. What happens if the pay range isn't specified? Yeah, we'll discuss about pay range, so we'll pass that. How would you be able to read a room during a virtual interview, especially when you're interviewed by a board or hiring manager? Also, what advice would you give for interviews with a board of hiring. Well, how you read the room is if you're talking to someone and someone is not focused on you, not looking at you, there's an issue. Or if you say something and the person, you see the person do like this or something, there are ways to sense it. It's called inspiration. I think women have it more than men, but you could read the room, but make sure that you find a way to make your voice powerful enough to grab people's attention. If you talk, oh my God, my name is Christina Celeste, you're not grabbing attention. Make sure you grab attention. If you notice that someone is being distracted, you could call the person in it. Thank you so much, David, for that question. Or this is what I was doing when I was in social university. And oh, David, also, in order to remind you, call the person's name. What helps you in the virtual interview that the person's name is on the screen. That's also one advantage of doing virtual interview, unlike when the person tells you his or her name and you forget it. Okay. If you are being interviewed by the board, you need to make sure that you learn about the company because several questions will be thrown to you. But the good thing about virtual interview is that when you are being interviewed by the board virtually, people always wait for one person to talk. Unlike when you are actually interviewed physically, 3, 4 questions could just come on you. So try to some interview negotiate the pay for the role when they have been a budget on ground for the role. Yes, if you asked this question, yes, that's a question for HR people. I wish Princess was here to actually interview that. That is a very delicate question that I don't even know why. Oh, Princess, you're back. Welcome. So somebody's asking. Oh, all right. Someone is asking about interview negotiation. Why they discuss the pay when there's actually a pay range for it. That's something you could. One of the ways I twist this when I talk about this, when they say how much are you expecting us to pay, you could say something like, "Oh, I know that the company already have a pay range already." And once you let me know how much the company is paying, because no matter what you do, even if you do miracle, they might not shift that budget for you because a lot of people are actually looking for job. So you don't know why. Some of the HR people, as I know, want to save more money for their companies and want to pay less and get that, which is wrong. While some would let you know. I've seen a lady, they said there was a story online that had to do with a lady that as the lady was like, how much they would pay you, as the person was about to say something else, the HR person cut the person off and was not related to this girl. And the HR person sent the person a message that, see, don't mention that money you mentioned to me before. Mention this is the range. Well, that was the HR trying to help another person anyway. And they spoke about it if it was right and why they discussed the pay range. Some HR would discuss the pay range in order to pay less. Some HR would discuss the pay range in order to know where you are. Nobody wants to give ₦1,000,000 to somebody that's never held ₦1,000,000. So they want to use it to actually value your kind of person. Princess, am I right about that?
That's actually very correct. The valuing system is there. And another thing is we can as a recruiter, you can research online and know that this is the pay range for this particular position. But then you realize, okay, if I can get lower, if I can go lower, if I can get someone that can actually accept to go lower on this particular role, that would be good. So other than valuing you, they also be looking for a way to cut down budget too. So those are the two major things why they still negotiate. So if you accept, you still go for that role, and then you still go lower than what you should have accepted.
Okay. Another thing, well, Princess is an HR person. I am a staff. Never go below the board. Don't tell any HR person I will take less. No. Don't devalue yourself.
Now you're just spoiling our market.
No, I have to spoil. Don't devalue yourself. Never ever accept that you pay less. If the company wants to pay you 500K, you are worth 500K. It's not easy to create a human being. You are worth 500K. The thing is that you need to upgrade yourself to do the tax that is needed. So if you know that
your time, in your CV,
yes,
yeah.
You're worth it as a human being.
Yeah.
You're worth it as a human being. You just have to prove that you're worth it. You don't need to know everything, but when the task comes to you, learn it, look for who will help you and get it. So the next question that somebody did is, I currently have a knowledge in one CRM software, but I have one across jobs that do not make use of such software. How do I pitch myself as an individual willing to learn the software they use? Well, I use a lot of software. When it comes to CRM, Intercom, Slack, Asana, there are several ones, but go for the current ones. If it has to do with software, always go for the current one, the one that beats the rest. There are other software apart from Microsoft, but everybody knows that Microsoft software is the major software everyone uses. All companies would not use Microsoft. There are companies that don't use Microsoft, but they are using project software that are similar. So always go for the software, learn the software that is majorly used round. You will always tell them that you are quick to learn and everything. And most CRS software actually are similar. So learn the one. Intercom is actually one of the biggest major CRM software. Right software. All right. We moved on to, is it right to suggest more than one online platform I'll be comfortable to use for interview? No, please do not suggest it. Every company already have their software. Our company use Microsoft Teams. That's what we want to interview you for. Why is that? Probably Princess would want to interview you there because our founder would need to rewatch the video of your interview. You can't go and say, oh, can we use Zoom? No, they told you already Microsoft Teams. Download it, learn how to use it, as Princess have said before that time. Sorry, Princess, I'm just rushing through their questions, and so we get to it. Okay, is it okay to pitch new ideas to a company during an interview? Yes, if you are pitching to somebody that is not competing for your job. So if you are pitching for somebody that is not comfortable, is not competing for your jobs, then you can actually pitch a new idea to the person. But if you are talking to someone that might steal your idea, well, you never know. But if you know that you're talking to the board because you have several interviews before you get to meet the owner or CEO, when you get to the CEO, then you can pitch a new idea. But while pitching a new idea, you need to pitch the action of how it will be done. It's not about creating an idea. You need to also explain how you will do that. But you need to be careful not to be stepping on toes. When applying for a job,
I wanted to add to that about the
okay.
pitching of ideas. So if there are certain roles and positions, especially marketing, digital marketing, that you've gone through their site, you've gone through their social media pages, and you know that these are ways that can improve it. So most times hiring managers are always the HROs, not actually someone that will actually want to take the idea. So when you pitch, I noticed that this on your this, and I feel like you can improve in this social media aspect, and this is how I can bring this on board that can actually do this. They'll realize, okay, this is another way. Even if you were tanking, you were doing badly in that interview, they'll just realize that, okay, this person can do this for us. We didn't even have an idea this was possible before. So this person can do this. So that pitching of idea, it's not a bad idea. Depends on, just like you said, depends on who is interviewing you. If you are being interviewed by a CEO, your hiring manager is a human resource person, pitch that idea because he or she is going to note it down. And if every other person that they're interviewing fails in one aspect or the other, they will remember this person and they'll just look for a way that you can actually still bring this idea that you pitched into the organization. And when you pitch, don't pitch the entire thing. If not, they can still do it by themselves in the company and still like neglect you. Don't pitch the entire thing. Just summarize it and
So,
no
Princess,
the
the
other
one
one
putting
is
yourself,
motivation.
the one putting yourself under the bus. You're selling you're selling out your
At this
profession.
point, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So we're just going to give you tips of how we think. Beyond that,
Okay.
outside that, I will not admit this.
All right, that's good.
Outside
Thank
this
you so
space.
much. She said, give as little as you can. Someone asks if they have little experience and it's not related to their field. Try to get a volunteer experience before you apply, or try to tell them that you're willing to learn. Most times, like Michael said, is the interview that actually gets you the job. Someone said, how can you answer? How long are you planning to stay in our organization? Sadly, you cannot. Sadly, this question does not come. You cannot foretell your future, but what you can say is the future you have in the company. So let's say every time the company do performance review for you, they increase your salary. Definitely, you'll be willing to stay in the company 5 to 10 years. So talk about where you would see yourself in the company in 5 years' time. Oh, I'm a programs person. What's the plan? Oh, with future, I'm looking in the next 2-3 years where I would be in the company, because you are hoping that only positive things will happen to you in the company. I'm hoping to be in charge of so branch, or I'm hoping to move. So tell what you would see, thinking if the company is good to you and you're good to the company, where you'll be in that company in 5 years. Don't say that in 5 years' time, I'm hoping I would have blown, I would have moved to Bahamas, and no. You actually talk about where you see yourself happening in the five years while in the company, when it is working in the company.
I think this
So let's
question
move.
mostly comes up when as an interviewer, you've looked at the CV and you've noticed that this person has not stayed in a job up to a year, or has not stayed in a job. People tend to jump jobs a lot. Like when you're doing your CV, it is never recommended for you to say, oh, I worked from this place to this place 1 year. And they notice that the only time you seem to be spending on every job is 6 months to 1 year. So they'll ask you, your CV was compelling, quite all right, we like your experience, but the fact that you barely stayed on a job, that's not good. That's why they ask that question.
Yeah,
And your reply
that's a
is
good
actually
one.
very perfect for it. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good one. Someone was adding to Sharon's question, is it right to tell the company about the flaws you notice based on the research or the word of mouth, and suggest remedy based on your qualification? This looks to improve your chances of getting the job. Is this advisable? Well, actually, no, it is not advisable unless they actually point at it. You can only, nobody can blow your trumpet. You're the only one that can blow your trumpet. It's like saying, oh, I'm a chef, but I cannot make pap, or I'm very terrible at pap. Meanwhile, you're very good in preparing amala or other soup or anything. Talk about your positive side of it. Don't go talking about your flaws. But when they ask you, what is your weakness? You could say something like, oh, I've been having, this is where I had issues in making pap, or certain weakness, but I've been learning, or I have issues. I used to have issues connecting with team members, but lately I've been working well with team members where we share our taxes and all that. Your weakness does not mean you were going to talk about your flaws. You actually talk about it, then talk about how you are dealing to fix this. We'll find one of the weakness I used to go for is that I'm a perfectionist and I like to get things done perfectly. But lately I make sure that I look at time range I am going, like my time to deliver, and make sure that I work with that time, because perfectionist people, they actually waste time about it. So next one, the questions are coming. Please, want to move to the next one. Want to move to the next one. Somebody asks if the answer is I have no idea, is it an acceptable one? When do you know when to smart as when to be smart and when to simply be honest? Well, if somebody asks a question about something and you are not sure of it, you could tell the person to elaborate on it. I have no idea. This is a Gen Z answer. This is a Gen Z, a very good Gen Z answer. But you could always explain. If someone talk about it, say what you know about it and leave it, or ask the person to elaborate on what they mean. So that it could be that you do have the answers, but you don't understand the question. You could say, can you shine more light on that question? Or can you elaborate on the question? So when the person expatiates the questions and tell you what they are asking, you'll be able to answer. Um, I have no idea. It's actually too short. Just try to ask, okay, what do you mean by this? And the person answers an answer like, okay, well, this is not my field, or this is not my field, but I could get you more light or more answer about this if I do 1 or 2 research about it. Oh, I've actually heard about data analysis, but the data analysis I do as a digital marketer has to do with Google Analysis. But if you're looking to use the likes of Buffy insights to check it, I will actually go and read more about Buffy Insight and how to use it. And I'm sure I'll be able to use the software, though I've not really used the software, but I've heard about it. You won't say I have no idea about that software and leave it there. That could be their major software that they are using. To say that, oh, I will have gone read about it, learn more about it, but I know that it's quite similar to what I use. Something like that. Just go around that. So moving on, I get a recap on how to negotiate salaries, because I've heard something about flipping the question back. Okay. Princess, is that you that said something about flipping the question
Yeah,
back when somebody's asking how to
it
negotiate
was
salary?
about
Yes.
it was about salary negotiation, not really more like when they ask you the question, what's the what's your salary range? What are you expecting us to pay for this job? You flip the question back, just like you said already, what do you want to pay for this position? So that was what I mean, flip the question back. So when they tell you this is what they want to pay or this is the range, if they give a range and say, based on this interview, you will ask, based on this interview, what range do you think I fit into, or what particular amount do you think I fit into? That's when the negotiations begin.
Okay, thank you so much. I think she has elaborated on that. They say Gen Z hardly stay in a job more than 2 years now. Well, things are actually changing. Yes, Gen Zs, they do not stay for long. That's because also putting princess profession under the bus. That's because a lot of job, when you stay with them longer, they don't pay you until when you move to another company. So a lot of companies are having issues with appreciating what they have. Like they said, a prophet has no honor in their home. I think that's one
Yeah,
thing that
workers
happens. So
appreciation.
yeah, workers appreciation. But when you have, that's one of the questions you had asked the HRO. When do you have your performance review? When do you have your performance review? Because performance review is what will guarantee that they will add to your salary. Without, if the company does not have performance review, definitely there's no increment or there's no noticing of your what job you are doing. When you ask a question, you have that. Okay, we've answered that. And go. Okay, somebody say let's move on. Can one put in the CV current roles like working for a particular, also volunteering for at the same time? Yes, you can put your current role. We need to move on. I believe the question wasn't answered right. I meant pointing out the flaws of the company. Oh, somebody was saying, can you point out the flaws of a company? Princess, can you answer that? Is it allowed to point out the flaws of a company and suggest solution to the flaws of the company? Can somebody do that?
This has to do with two things. One, if the person is sharing their screen, just like being intuitive, I think you spoke about this, reading the room. If this is the person that is very proud of what they have built, and you point out that this is what you're doing wrong, what you're pointing out should really, really be very minuscule, like very small, and then immediately follow up. No, you can point out flaws, but immediately follow up with this is what you can do to correct this. Do not just point out this is what you're doing wrong and then leave it hanging for a while and let him think about it. Don't let him or her think too long about it. But immediately follow up and be like, but this is what we can do to fix this. Like I said, summarize what you can do. Don't talk about how the person, summarize what you can do to do. Don't talk about how you are going to do it. Another what stays in Vegas stays, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas kind of thing. So talk about you can say, oh, I noticed this and I noticed this, but we can do this to improve this. Have you thought about doing this to improve this? This is it. That's just it. Him or her think too long about it. But immediately follow up and be like, but this is what we can do to fix this. Like I said, summarize what you can do. Don't talk about how the person, summarize what you can do to do. Don't talk about how you are going to do it. Another what stays in Vegas stays, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas kind of thing. So talk about you can say, oh, I noticed this and I noticed this, but we can do this to improve this. Have you thought about doing this to improve this? This is it. That's just it. Christian, I think you are muted. You are muted.
Please let me know if you can hear me.
Yes, we can now.
Let me know if you can hear me, please.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Hello guys. So Christina is having a little bit of technical difficulties. So just give us a couple of minutes. Meanwhile, if you have any questions based on anything that we've spoken about, you can just keep them coming and we'll do the best we can to answer them. If you have any questions, we're looking at them. So just give her a couple of minutes to come back in. Thank you.
Hello, hi guys. Can you hear me now? Sorry, I had a little technical issue. Please, Grace, can you confirm if you can hear me?
We can hear you, Christina.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Sorry, had some technical issues. So, actually, one person that would be joining me today. Thank you so much, Princess. That was actually a very interesting one, and lots of questions. But we actually have to move on because we do not have much time. So we'll actually be taking the last session today. Then other sessions will be taken tomorrow, as we've actually eaten so much time. So the next person that will be coming on board, um, Sorry. We have to make her a presenter and know if she's ready for us. She's ready for us. Seems she's out. It's Shayo, are you ready for us? Shayo. Hello, Shayo, are you around? Are you ready for us?
Oh yeah, I'll beat in a few minutes. Just give me a
Okay.
few minutes.
All right, thank you so much. Raku Batu, are you around? You're supposed to take us in a very interesting one. Since she's not around, she's actually supposed to show us how to optimize your LinkedIn, like go in and give you the full interior on how to optimize your LinkedIn. Seems So a quick recap, we've actually done CV writing, we've talked about remote interview. That was actually one of the ones that took much of our time and we tried to cut it short, but so many questions. But definitely please put on your questions. Link Princess is available. Princess is actually our in-house HRO. You could always tell her much question. You can also find her on LinkedIn. Princess, if you want to share your LinkedIn, you're free to do that. And also ask her any questions that you have because we're actually running out of